Dilmah High Tea Challenge is about bringing the tea back into high tea.
Today, careful effort has been made to respect the traditions and etiquettes of high tea. At the same time, we want to have a Kiwi spin on things, on the food, the beverages and the setting before you.
The whole idea of our afternoon tea was to be very classical English, but with a very modern twist.
Our theme today is basically a fusion of New Zealand culture, incorporating Dilmah teas and the Pacific Islands, what New Zealand is all about.
Chef Bernd has been on this real high tea journey from 2007, so I couldn't ask for a better reference judge, and of course being a WAX certified judge, he brings that level of professionalism, the standards that WAX has brought to the Real High Tea Challenge in taking it into a global championship.
All my 5 senses were turned on. That's what it's all about. It's an art to do that, but yeah, you got there.
The Dilmah High Tea Challenge came about in 2007. We want to put back into the high tea, real tea. Dilmah has reinvented the whole concept and have brought good tea, the world's best tea, with great varieties into the high tea. And to match the tea with the foods and actually have tea-infused food as well.
Peter Kuruvita, everybody knows Peter.
So our goal is to re-establish the beauty of tea and also the reason for having a high tea. New Zealand was really unique. Firstly, the setting. We're in a beautiful place. And I loved people bringing in the island theme. People were celebrating tapo and different parts of New Zealand, so it was a real New Zealand pride, really. It was great to see. What we were looking for in this competition, number one was brewing the perfect cup of tea. And it's a lot harder than you'd think. There's a lot goes into it. You need to stir it a few times, you need to make sure you cover it and look after it. But on top of that, the tea needed to be made into a cocktail, a mocktail, and then we needed to have a hot tea and a cold tea. Plus, we needed to have tea infused into the food and tea paired with the food.
We've used different elements of Auckland, basically the things that we look down on from the hotel restaurant. We can see all of the harbour and we can see the Sky Tower, and also we can see the rainforest. So we've got a bit of the harbour with the goldfish bowls and the ferns from our own part of the rainforest. It was our first experience with making any sort of teas or cocktails, so we've learned a lot from the judges. They liked our food. So I think that's the main thing for us this year. Try to serve the food that I would love to eat, you know, and they're part of the family, the chew bits and getting in there and really enjoying it, you know.
That's one place where I wouldn't want to do that, because it's, you know, everything that's on there should be edible and nice. So it just for high tea a bit more refinement. Now it's so, you know, there's a lot of good points. Loved your olive pistachio cake. I think it was nicely executed. All a little bit big for a high tea. Just cut it down in size. Sometimes less is more. Yeah. It's better for the food cost and it's better for the customer, because by the time I go through all that, I can still enjoy it to the last item.
What you did was good. The flavour-wise was good. Agree with Bern. That was beautiful. I love the orange and cardamom is just made to go with each other. They're just one of those flavours, and to me too, that was the standout.
I really appreciate them. It's really constructive. You know, it's not just. Sometimes you see the TV shows and it's like they tell you that it's terrible, but not really why. But if they had an issue with something, they tell you. And it was interesting especially to hear from Dilhan, because, for example, with the brewing of the tea. You know, I did my research online. It says 3 minutes online, and you know, you use Google, 3 minutes. But there's so much more complexity to it. How much you put in a strainer, and you know how long you leave it for if you want it stronger and things like that. So it's good to learn from that. Yeah.
So I learned a lot today, and yeah, I would say it's really a fantastic experience, and I appreciate this challenge.
Ice cubes you could have done with the actual drink itself. Okay, yeah. Make the drink and then make the ice cubes from that.
I think a lot of that is my inexperience in the front of
house.
No,
and that's what it's about.
I'd love to come back.
Exactly.
This again in New Zealand. I'd love to come back again, and I've picked up all these tips and actually use it. You know.
That's right. That's what it's about.
You've got the right attitude, and that's important. Yeah. You know, you're enthusiastic about what you're doing. You love what you're doing. Yeah. The passion comes through in what you're doing, and that's very, very important. And that hopefully will make you come back and say, right now, I'll give this another go.
Yeah, we definitely want to come back, and it's refining our drink service. Simplifying a couple of items, We probably stretched ourselves a little bit this year, and smaller portions. After watching last year's DVDs from Australia, we've seen some big portions, and that's what we did. We did big piece of cake, nothing like the hotel. And I think we should just basically stick to what we do in the hotel, and rather than trying to change things like that, you know, we do good high tea already, so we should just set that, I think.
Next one is NZ5, another bronze medal.
The idea of this Real High Tea Challenge is that it is a journey in terms of their awareness and understanding of tea, opening up the options. And so in stage 1, which we have just completed, I think we can be satisfied that we have really achieved a very high standard of excellence.